here with Skip Bayless and Shannon. Guys, how you doing today?
Doing great. Great.
It is so good to have you back here in studio so I can educate you about Space Jam, the new one versus the old one. Here we go. Thank you very much for being here.
New one was much better. And I'm glad to return.
We have a lot to say, a lot to talk about. Oh, and we will get to the finals, I promise you that. But, you know, LeBron did have a new movie come out, and we need to review it. LeBron's Space Jam, A New Legacy, was released in theaters and on HBO Max over the weekend, and the sequel brought in over $31 million. It's the best three-day stretch for a family film during the pandemic, and one Warner Brothers exec called it the, quote, family movie of the summer. So, Shannon, give the movie a letter grade, and was it better or worse than MJ's Space Jam? Tell me.
Well, for me, I gave it a B+, Skip, because I think it delivered on what it set out to do, and that was a family-first film. We understand that family is very important to LeBron James, and it came through on the screen. And I think there are a lot of fathers, a lot of sons and mothers that can learn something from this, because it started out with LeBron James, and his passion was playing basketball once he got serious about it. And what LeBron tried to do was try to push his passion on his son. But that's not what his son's passion was.
On his second son.
On his second son,
yes.
Right. Now, maybe it hit a little different to me because I am one, played a professional sport, and had a son. And a lot of people would ask me, your son play football or play sports? And I said, no. Because at the end of the day, Skip, what I took from the movie is that your child will find happiness if he or she does what they truly passionate about. Dom was not passionate about basketball as LeBron was, or the older son was. His passion was gaming. And the wife tried to convey to LeBron, he doesn't need a coach. He needs a dad. He needs a dad that loves him, a dad that respects him and says, you know what, son? If you don't want to play basketball, that's fine. And it took LeBron losing his son for him to realize, and sometimes it takes us to lose a child. Skip, you know this. This past weekend, my son got married. And I was a little reluctant at first because I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? I told him, I said, you sure you're ready for marriage? Skip, as I'm sitting at the ceremony, and I talked to him before, he said, Dad, I'm really nervous. As the pastor is going through this and giving them the vows, I'm looking at my son, and I've never seen him happier in my life. That gave me peace. And after the ceremony, I put my arm around his bride, Rebecca, and I said, you know what? I've never seen my son so happy. I said, welcome to the Sharp family, and I'll love you just like I love my own kids. You see, LeBron had to lose his son for him to realize that, you know what, basketball is not the most important thing. Whatever my son has passion about, that's the most important thing to him. Now, I played sports for a lot of different reasons. To get my grandmother out of poverty, and so my kids would not have to worry about the things that I had to worry about. And people often say, well, I do for my kids so I can give them things that I never had. True. I love giving tangible things to my kids, but I also love giving them knowledge and understanding that my grandparents and my mom couldn't give to me because they didn't know the things that I was able to attain over the years. So for me, that's what I took from the movie. I thought it hit. Sure, Skip, if people want to say, well, there are too many IPs, there are too many references to other Warner Brother films. But did that distract from the message that it was trying to convey? I don't believe it did. So I gave it a B+. I liked the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and I would recommend it because I think a lot of families can take something from it because we see the way parents behave when they go to these games. Because when you behave like that, it's not about you. It's not about, it's not about the child. You make it about you. So for me, Skip, I think LeBron's message of family first and understanding your kids and their passion and supporting them. And what I told my daughter-in-law family, I said, I never pushed my son in any direction. I just found the direction that he was going in, and I pushed him hard. So once I found out what his passion was, which was schooling, I pushed him hard in that direction. I never tried to break him up with anybody he was going with. If that's who you love, son, if you love it, I love it. And so, Skip, that's what I took from the movie. I'm glad I got an opportunity to see it, and I think it's a movie a lot of families can get something out of.
Okay, my turn. So, on Friday night, my wife Ernestine and I, and we don't have children, but we did watch the new Space Jam. And we watched it, we watched it, and we watched it, and we watched it some more because I kept dozing off because it's 2 hours long, which is too long.
Right.
And then Saturday night, we said, let's rewatch. Let's go back because it's up all over all the, you can see it just about anywhere, the original Space Jam. And it's an hour and 28 sweet minutes.
Right. And this was 155, so it's about 30 minutes longer.
It's about 30 minutes over long to me. So that's where I start with this. And the contrast between the new and the old was stunning to my eyes and Ernestine's eyes, because the first one is so much more lovable and palatable than this one. And I'll get to your theme that you brought up in just a moment. But because LeBron is a nice guy, I'm going to try to be a nice guy today and give his new movie a C, because mostly Don Cheadle is sensational, but he's always sensational because he's just one of the best we have right now, if not right at the top of the list.
Right.
So he takes over much of the back half of the movie, and yet, to me, the new Space Jam is no closer than the original than LeBron is to Michael Jordan, the basketball player.
They took it in a different direction.
Okay, well, I'll get to that in just a moment. And remember, to me, LeBron, the basketball player, is about as far from the true GOAT, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, as L.A. is to Chicago. So, to me, the new Space Jam, in the end, comes off as this big, loud, overlong mess of a movie, a big-budget movie, that is trying so hard that it tries too hard to be the original or top the original. And I told you all last week, LeBron has to be careful here because he cannot be Michael Jordan or beat Michael Jordan. And I think he lost badly once again to Michael Jordan in this movie. So to your point, it's a one long ode to LeBron, and it's one long bigger ode to Warner Brothers, because they pull out all the stops. It's product placement all over the map of Warner Brothers. It gets so bizarre that at the end, during the basketball game, Warner Brothers hauls out every villain from its archive and parades them behind the villain, who is Don Cheadle's character, Al G. Rhythm. And it's everybody. It's like the Wicked Witch of the West. It's Jim Carrey from The Mask. It's the clown from It. It's like, what? And then I'm looking, I even see that evil gang from A Clockwork Orange. And if anybody knows that movie, that's some evil stuff that they put in there, right? Okay, so the only true-to-life moment in the movie came very early because it's showing LeBron as a high school player, and guess what? He missed the last-second shot. Oh, okay, I got it. So I like that part. And then